Are we live?
We're live. The only reason that we shower. If these ovaries could talk is live right now.
Jaimie, I hit drums today. Did you see that? I hit the drums today.
Oh, good job. I always hit the drums.
I was doing drums. Guys, we're live.
Hi, welcome to the show that nobody asked for. The only reason that we shower, literally, the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. Tell us you're here. Let us know. We want to know.
Jaimie, adding the theme song at the top has given me a lot of business to do at the top of this now. So
it's really hard for you.
I was like a technical director. I was controlling things there. All right. Well, listen, that was our first time with the video theme song.
What do you guys think of the video?
I think there was only one person here as I hit play, but whatever. It's
They'll tell us later.
Good morning, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca. You can tell we both actually dried our hair. Did you blow dry your hair today?
Yeah, give myself a little blowout.
Mom, you got in right away? Did the link work? Tell us.
We're experimenting with a lot of things today, guys. So we as you know, we put out the survey, which we want you all to fill out. Sue Kelton didn't see me. I don't know what that means.
She wasn't in at the top. Well, she missed the top.
So, oh God, everybody's looking. There's so many comments here.
I don't even know about Hurricane Douglas because I never get to turn the news on during the day because of children. Rebecca's still having coffee. Rebecca, I'm having another cup of coffee. This is not a cocktail today.
I know. This is, by the way, we were talking, our guest is in the waiting room and we were talking with her and we were saying, we're so over it that we're not even interested in happy hour anymore. I'm on seltzer, she's on coffee. I'm like, that. How sad is it that we are over happy hour?
It's just 2:00 and then I know I got to parent for another 8 hours. I don't know.
Let me finish that thought from the top and say, we sent out a survey on Facebook about when we go forward to the once a week on Thursdays. We really want your input on what's working with the live streams, what you'd like to see more of, what you want to see less of. And no Irish coffee, not even.
No, it's just regular.
And we also, that's also a reminder that we are only going to be Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern in August. Next week we are off because I'm on vacation.
And I might be staying at Robin's house. I'm not staying at Robin's house. We've decided that I'm not staying at Robin's house while the people paint my apartment with my children. We're going to find another home.
Guys, what's going to happen is Helen is now going to stay at my house and take care of my cat. We would love to hear in the side comments if you believe my cat will still be alive when we come back.
Helen is going to asphyxiate your cat with cigarette smoke.
Feed the cat.
She's going to forget. She falls asleep with that cigarette in her hand all the time. Your house is going to be burnt down, Lady Jane.
To give the cat her anxiety pills, and then the cat's going to start peeing in the bed again. So great.
Yeah, and then Helen is not going to like that.
No.
Okay.
All right. So listen. Wait, hold on.
Wait 2 minutes.
Fine, Rebecca. Fine. Okay.
Live notification. I clicked on it and
Rebecca, should we here. Stand there for 2 minutes like this?
Like. No, we can't do that. Okay. So, but let's figure out, maybe there's a way we can stall before the intro. Because I know it kills my mother to miss the intro because that's my beautiful voice singing.
And what we do is we cater our shows to Jamie's mother. So
everything
is
about Mama Sue.
Yes. Says, yes, it is.
Yeah.
So listen, we have a wonderful guest today. And she want us to sit like this. Everyone will be like, mine's frozen. Is this frozen? So we have a wonderful guest today. But before we get into the guest, she's here to talk about postpartum fitness. But we were going to share some stories. Yeah?
Yes. Yeah. So, all right. So Kelly Bryant, she's this certified personal trainer, yoga instructor. She's everything. Continuing education instructor, Pilates instructor. She does it all.
Every woman. She is every woman.
And she specializes in postpartum fitness. So Robin and I thought we'd share some things we did wrong postpartum so that when Kelly comes in, she can tell us a thing or two about the things we messed up.
Go, Jaimie. Go.
Everybody. So I might have told this story. There's so many stories, but I'm going to stick with this one because it's the most fitness related. Of course, after when Orion was maybe not even 2 months, I went to, because we all know I'm a crazy workout fanatic. I love to work out. I used to be a personal trainer. So I was dying to get back into like a hardcore workout after being pregnant for so long. And also
longer than others, Jaimie?
Well, the infertility messed up my workouts too, because I had to be careful that I didn't like rupture an ovary with all the drugs inside of me all that time. Okay. So it was like, it's a long time. So I, silly me, went to a CrossFit class 2 months, not even 2 months after C-section.
What was wrong with you? I'm not Kelly Bryant, and I know that was dumb.
I felt fine. I felt like I could handle it. I was going through an emotional time. My dad passed.
Yeah.
I just needed it, and I went and I worked hardcore out. I did everything. There was some heavy barbell lifting above my head for at least 10 minutes. Yes, CrossFit, Rebecca, I know. And then the next day, I had the worst hemorrhoids of my life for a long time. I could barely sit down.
Okay, so I knew you had the hemorrhoids, but I didn't know it was because you did CrossFit, you dummy. Oh my God, that's
I gave myself post-pregnancy hemorrhoids that continue to this day now. I get flare-ups. Thanks a lot, CrossFit. I'm going to blame CrossFit. Not my
like my 9-year-old son blaming everyone but himself, and this is me running around the house going, "You take responsibility for what you did."
I screwed myself up.
Okay, so I don't have. I didn't.
You're not as dumb as me.
Like, I was very excited about the 2 frozen margaritas that I put in my freezer from the takeout place. And I was just like, when can I have those? So that's what I was fixated on in terms of working out. It was like this, 1 and 2. But I didn't, I had a little bit of baby blues, and I didn't really, because I was doing karate right up, because I'm an advanced brown belt. And I was
really,
it's like, of course I am. And I did karate right up to, I want to say like close to like 7-8 months. Obviously I wasn't doing any fighting or anything, but I was just doing like what I could. Mm-hmm. And, but then I just took me a long time to go back. Like I didn't put a routine in place. And then I have a food issue, which I've talked about a lot on the podcast. And I lost my food plan because of the baby, because I couldn't eat the way I normally did.
Yeah.
I only put on like 24 pounds when I was pregnant, 25 pounds, but I put on so much more after. Because I lost my food plan, and then I wasn't working out, and I was like, I had a new baby and I didn't know how to juggle any of it. And it took me years to get back to taking care of myself physically and with food.
So our problems are like they're the same, but they're opposite, because I overdid it.
Yeah.
You underdid it, but it still resulted in
Doritos. And I went back to like Sunkissed, and it was like all kinds of stuff.
Please share a picture of your Taekwondo. I like kickboxing.
Love it. Okay, well, for the love of God, everybody's heard our stories. Let's
care about us.
I was going to call her Dr. Kelly. I've just upgraded her to a doctor.
She's a doctor.
I so appreciate that. I actually, one of my things that I'm like, maybe someday is I want to be like a wizened old woman and like be a midwife.
Yeah, we could do that.
I totally do that. Like, that's my next life. I'm already on like my 4th career because I'm a millennial. Yeah. So I'm going to just hold on that for a minute.
You should do that.
I appreciate that. I'll totally be a doctor. I also have considered like being a doctor of physical therapy.
Oh, yeah. Well, personal training goes with that. When I was a personal trainer, I was like, should I like go that way?
Totally.
Hey, girl, hey, Rebecca. But then I was like, no, that's too much school, and I just want to sing and dance.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like, I actually hate school. Like, my only formal schooling is a bachelor's degree in journalism. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, that's something to be proud of. All right, let's talk about you and Rebecca would say welcome to the party. By the way, Rebecca, try to post a picture and a comment, and let's see if it works if we put it up.
The Taekwondo.
Let's talk about you, Kelly.
Kelly. Does everybody sing that song to you? No, right? Do you even know the song?
No.
Kelly. Robin, you don't know this?
No, I don't know what you're doing
Kelly. It's Cheers. It's Woody. His girlfriend played Kelly, and he writes her a song, and it's just Kelly. No, nobody?
Actually have watched a fair bit of Cheers, and I've never caught that.
It's Woody. Woody's the dense one, and he writes Kelly a song, and it's just Kelly over and over and over again.
No, I mean, maybe it's also possible that like people have been doing that for years, and I've just been like, that's a thing that people say to me.
Yeah, well, now you know. Now you get to watch it. Find it on YouTube. It's funny.
All right. Well,
tell us about you.
Sure. So, like I said, I have a bachelor's degree in journalism. Nobody told me when I decided to go to the University of Miami and study journalism that apparently journalism's dead. Whoops. So I graduated and I ended up actually moving into marketing. I was briefly a writer at a website called Greatest, which was kind of like my introduction into the health and wellness world. And then I ended up actually working in marketing at a little startup called Noom, which far more people have heard of now than when I was there.
Yeah, isn't that like a diet program or a healthy eating program or something?
Yes. So now they have protocols for like diabetes prevention and all these other things. At the time, they just recruited me because I was a writer and I could write about wellness. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I don't know, the 12th or 13th employee there. It was cool. So I actually lived up in New York for almost 5 years. And that was how I sort of got into the wellness world. And I totally burned out because I was working at a tech startup in New York City. And I did my yoga teacher training.
Cosign.
And was like, I'm just going to do this for fun. And then my husband and I decided to quit our jobs and travel around the world for 1.5 years.
As you do.
So it was awesome.
I'm so jealous.
5 stars. Highly recommend. I'm really glad I did it before having a child.
Yeah.
But when we came back, it was like, well, I can do whatever I want. I'm not going to go back. I love New York. But when you're not there, it's really hard to convince yourself that you like want to pay for preschool and like I also hate the cold.
Yeah.
I worked in like West Chelsea and walked from Penn Station to West Chelsea every day and just cursed the Dutch and was like, who would land here and think this was a good idea?
Yeah.
So,
darn Dutch.
We could have gone anywhere. Yeah. So we traveled, and when I came back, I was like, I could do anything. I guess I'm going to do this yoga teacher thing. I did that, and once we did that for 2 months. Awesome, Michelle. That's so good. Yeah, pre-kids. I'm sure you can do it with kids. There are lots of people who do, but like.
By the way, this woman, Michelle, had triplets, so it's good she did it before the war. She was on our podcast.
No, you actually couldn't do that with triplets.
No.
There's just like a lot of places in the world that don't have seatbelts.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other, I'm like, I can put myself at risk, but there's no car seats. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So before I ever got pregnant, I thought that like I knew everything I needed to know about how to exercise if you were pregnant. And then I got pregnant and I was like, whoa, this does not feel like what I thought it would feel like.
No.
And I went out to like do the research. Just, I'm Googling around. Like, can I do, because when you're going through, say, yoga teacher training or personal training, you learn like, these are the things you can't do because they're dangerous.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In quotation marks, dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't explain one, why, and two, like, what are you supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The information that's out there is just crap. Like you can read 2 different articles and one will say that you absolutely can't do a plank and the other will say that you have to do a plank. It's like the most important thing.
Totally. And like when I got my certification, the book is huge, right? The pregnancy section is literally like this big, and I'm pretty sure it was written in like 1960. It has not been updated.
No,
so.
Then not like my NASM personal training certification, like I got it kind of as a formality. Like I was already doing personal training. I was already doing strength training. It was just like, I feel like I should have this thing for, I don't know, liability reasons or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, you do. Yeah.
And so I'm going through the pregnancy section and I'm like, that's wrong. That's just wrong. Like, I don't know if you see like my whole computer is shaking because I'm very irritated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's dead wrong. So I was like, all right, screw this. I'm going to figure out the answers myself. So I have studied like a lot of anatomy and physiology, but I also am really into like studying the nervous system and understanding like the how and the why of movement. And I think that, the meditative component and the relaxation component is really, really valuable. So actually, speaking to what you guys were saying before I jumped on, you were saying like you had the same problem, but the opposite. Mm-hmm. And that's because that's the cultural expectation, is that we are told either be careful, don't do anything, just relax, like put your feet up, or we're taught you could do anything you want, mama. You're so strong. Nothing. I'm like,
feel good, do it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you were doing it before, you can keep doing it. Like yes, physically you are capable of doing it. Does that mean you should?
Right.
And why? And so I think it's just like, Robin, I think you said like, there's like some baby blues going on. There's, you're also trying to like figure out how to like keep a human alive, mm-hmm. which is the thing. And there's sort of, the activation energy is really hard to like even just get started and do something. And it feels like my options are do nothing or do everything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not going to be able to do everything, then I shouldn't do anything.
Especially when you see in the media, like in Us Magazine, stars, they've lost all the baby weight in 6 weeks. And it's like, because they got a tummy tuck. They got an C-section with a tummy tuck. And then they didn't eat during pregnancy.
And there's also, there's a very big difference between weight loss and physical recovery. Like mm-hmm. they're totally separate things. You can have an incredible recovery with no weight loss. You can have weight loss with no muscular recovery, mm-hmm. and you can actually have both. I don't tend to teach around weight loss. If I give any nutritional advice, it's generally like in the neighborhood of intuitive eating, mm-hmm. because so many of the people I work with are breastfeeding, or I'm like, I'm not a lactation consultant. I am not gonna tell you what you can and can't eat.
Right.
That's not my field, but mm-hmm. I think that the weight deals with itself often if you handle the mental and the physical components of like actually starting to move again.
Right.
What does that look like? Tell us what that looks like.
Well, it doesn't look like going to a CrossFit class 2 months post C-section.
I could tell you that. It felt good in the moment. It really did.
Of course it did. Because that's your ego.
Yeah.
Like yoga loves teaching about the ego, right? We know CrossFit does not teach you about your ego. CrossFit's just like, you're a badass.
Yeah.
CrossFit is Helen. Get up!
Helen's a mess.
So I generally offer a 90-day postpartum program. And I think 90 days is like a really nice amount of time to take to go from laying in bed to being ready to do whatever you want to do. And for some people, doing whatever you want to do is just being physically capable of bending over a crib and picking up a baby without throwing your back out. And for some people, whatever you want to do is CrossFit. But that includes people are often the CrossFit crowd is very initially skeptical. Is that? Yes. Sorry. Mm-hmm. It's Friday. I'm like, that.
Yeah, we get it.
Right. Coming out. Skeptical. There it is. Skeptical that that this is enough, but really simple Kegel-like exercises, learning to engage your core, actually breathing, really simple stuff like that. I have my the people in my programs do a 5-minute daily routine every day. And I tell them, if that's the only thing that you do, if that's the only exercise that you do, that is enough. I mean, whatever you're doing is enough, right? But if you're I just want to recover, I want to, be healed, that truly will do it for the majority of people.
Mm-hmm. A little bit goes a long way.
Yeah. And also, I feel like that 5-minute, you're building back the routine of starting to think about your physical wellness. Because talking to Jaimie, asking us to tell the story, I realized it didn't even occur to me to say anything or to think about it,
Yeah.
because I was just like in triage. So it's like interesting.
Exactly. And was your sorry, I'm like, don't know which is your first a singleton?
We both have kids.
Yeah, but as individuals, not twins.
Yeah, no twins. Nobody had any twins.
Okay. Yeah. So even one baby, but I actually right now I'm just in twin mindset. I have 2 separate twin pregnant people right now. And I'm just like, so that's just where my brain is, that I'm like, wait, do you have twins? I'm like, that just having a tiny human that needs you to live is freaking exhausting. And everyone has different levels of support from their partner, both physical support and emotional support. And everyone has, a lot of the time people haven't talked about what postpartum is going to look like before it happens.
Right.
Which is like, I feel like postpartum is the next frontier. For the longest time, nobody was talking about infertility. And now I feel like there's a lot more conversation around infertility and about the struggle to get pregnant. People are starting to talk about, okay, what is it actually like to be pregnant? And then like the reality of, oh my God. Have you seen Ali Wong's stand-up special?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
The second one where she's talking about her friend who's like, she had one baby girl and it turned her vagina into 2 penises. And like, nobody talks about that. Like, they're just like,
your body really, yeah. I was really upset by my body post birth, and I'm still getting it, but I'm still upset with the fact that it did so much chaos to my body.
Oh, 100%. And people really don't like, so for example, people who have a C-section don't realize that a C-section affects your pelvic floor.
Right.
Yeah.
And that a quote unquote normal vaginal birth has all kinds of, for example, the tissue in your body is, kind of constantly being replaced and turned over and blah, blah, blah science. But you can have a C-section that literally adheres your guts to your skin.
Yeah.
So that every time like you go to move, like I heard a OB say once, like after the 3rd or 4th C-section, it's like opening up a melted box of crayons. That like that crap is all sticking to. Sorry, I'm like trying to decide, do I need to watch my language? Do people have children around? Like that shit is all sticking to itself. Like it's a freaking mess in there. And like people don't realize that they're like, well, I lost the weight, or well, I look the same, like I look back to normal or whatever.
I don't look back to normal.
Well, yeah, well, that's, I guess what normal seems like, under a shirt, and if you suck in, you're like, yeah, that's kind of roughly what I had going on before. But it's like, no, there's skin, there's like separation, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think we have to talk about the postpartum body more, so that more women are ready for it when it comes. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I couldn't believe it. I thought my body was going to bounce right back.
Yeah.
And
there's some things that just never go back to the way they were.
I got depressed.
Yeah.
What did I know you said that you were super into fitness. What did your exercise look like during pregnancy?
I actually did a lot of yoga. Actually, I became a yogi. But it was funny because in all the yoga classes I went to, I just ended up finding this one teacher that I really liked, and I kept going to her because she seemed to understand a pregnant body, because I think she had been pregnant before and she knew what worked for her. Mm-hmm. But other teachers I would go to, it would be like, they wouldn't even say congratulations. I'd go to them at the beginning, just so you know, I'm pregnant, so I might have to modify some stuff. Some of the men would be like, oh, okay. Okay, do you know what to do? And I'd be like, I might need your guidance here. And I think I'm going to need guidance, but I'll try to know what to do. And there wasn't even like a congratulations, not a, oh, congratulations. Okay, well, we'll work together. And a couple of the young girls were like, oh, like deer in headlights. They were like, we don't know what to do. So I found that frustrating.
And for any of your listeners who are in New York City, Prenatal Yoga Center on the Upper West, I think it's Upper West Side. Fantastic.
Good to know. Wish I knew about that before.
Finding prenatal, and they have all kinds of postpartum resources too. but it's worth finding prenatal teachers because that, like, it's a crapshoot. Like, you might walk into the class of someone who has had kids and like can at least tell you what their experience has been
and stays conscious with you and doesn't just ignore you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like calling out my name. Yeah, Jaimie, do it this way, you know, in the class.
And in an open level class, like some people, you know, as a teacher, you don't know. Some people might walk in and be like, I'm going to tell this teacher I'm pregnant, but like, I really don't want people's eyes on me. I don't want to be called out. I don't want to be given. When I was pregnant, I actually would go in to, if I went and took someone else's class, I would be like, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm a yoga teacher. Please don't do anything for me.
Yeah.
And as a teacher, you don't necessarily know the person who's walking in. Like if, you know, on the flip side, sometimes I have seen like pregnant people doing something where I'm like, oh my God, they should not be doing that.
All the time. Just people doing things wrong.
If they've come in and gone like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm like, I'm not going to call you out and be like, bitch, you are going to hurt yourself. Like,
right. No. Yeah. It's just interesting. You know, we need to be more conscious, and we got to talk about pregnancy more, and we have to talk about the postpartum body more, and just be honest and real for our fellow ladies out there.
And I think that, you know, with a lot of the listeners of your show, and I was just having a conversation actually with a fertility coach earlier this week, that there's so much focus on just getting pregnant.
Yes.
That it's like, you know, you're like, I want to be sick. I want to be huge. Like, I want that to happen. You want it so badly that you don't think about like, what's that really going to, like, do I have a plan?
Right.
Do I know what that's actually going to look like? And of course, I mean, this is like a conversation around postpartum mood and anxiety disorders, but like you're like, possibly postpartum depression. I want this baby so bad.
Right. But you do.
You can still have postpartum regret, postpartum rage, postpartum anxiety, like all of the things can still happen no matter how bad or how much money you had to pay to get pregnant in the first place. Like it still happens.
Yeah, totally.
What do you recommend for people who are like, so you're pregnant, you want to be physically active. Do you just recommend that they just look for places that are going to specialize in, or look for someone who's like you, who's a expert?
So this is the beauty of COVID. Like, you have the whole world as your oyster. You can find an expert. And that's actually one really awesome thing that's come out of this is like, there is no reason to limit yourself to the yoga studio or the gym down the street. Like, you can find an expert. And I mean, obviously I'm going to say like, I think that's the best thing to do, because that's what I do. But I mean, you know, in a perfect world, we all would be celebrities and we all would have a personal trainer who's deeply experienced and knowledgeable about these specific topics. And of course, in a perfect world, we would all be like informed and capable of advocating for ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. So many, the only people who I get are the people who come to me being like, yo, my doctor said this, this, and this, and I know they're full of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get the people whose doctor says this, this, and this, and they're like, okay, I guess sex is just going to hurt forever.
Yeah.
Okay, like, I guess I just pee myself now.
Right.
I had someone 34 years old. This woman told me her doctor told her that pain with sex was just a normal part of aging.
Oh my God. Was her doctor a man?
Yep.
That is so many kinds of wrong.
Yeah. And you know, this is like over Instagram. So I wasn't like sure how old she was, but I'm like, unless you got a photo from 1992, like,
that's crazy.
That's not true. Like, and then she goes, yeah, I'm only 34. I was like,
that's crazy. That's terrible.
I had another client who was struggling with fertility, with her struggling with infertility with her second, and her doctor, she was like, you know, it like sex is really painful. Do you think I should do something about this? Her male older doctor told her, basically, no, it's not worth doing anything about it until you're done having kids.
Well, I have to have sex to have the kids because she's straight, right?
This is a couple. Like that's how you do it generally.
Wow.
Yeah. And
wow.
Like one one person can send someone down the road of like, she was like, that's bunk, and ended up sorting stuff out herself. She just had her fourth. But that can change the trajectory of someone's life.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We talk about this all the time, especially in the LGBTQ fertility world.
Yeah.
We have to be our own advocates, and we learn that along our path because we're met with stop signs everywhere we go. And people are just so ignorant and dumb.
I just found out that for same-sex couples, that like in a lot of places, insurance won't cover fertility treatment until you've been trying for a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you're not.
You've been trying. Trust me. You've been trying.
Never accept you because you're same-sex.
You've been trying. It just doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's just like,
Yeah.
I mean,
So like, you know,
I'm not a man basher, but it just feels like if like we really figured out Viagra really fast, and there's a lot of options, and it's cheap, and you can get it now over the counter. You know, we figured that shit out is like immediately, but we don't give a crap about what happens to women in their bodies. You know,
education. There is no education for us. You get pregnant and then you're just pregnant. We're not going to talk about your postpartum body. We're not going to go there. We're not going to even, you're going to deal with it because you're a woman and you guys can handle this stuff. You're made for it.
Yeah.
Have either of you read any of Ina May Gaskin's books?
I read when I was pregnant. I read those books, and I was determined to have my child those natural ways.
Did you read the part where she's like, most male doctors are looking at a baby's head and they're looking at the size of a penis and they're going, well, if that thing can hurt, there's no way this vagina is capable of having a head come out of it. It's like this unconscious bias of like, they're looking in their pants being like, I mean, if that thing sometimes can't even go in there, then there's no way a head can come out. It's
just really, there's so much infuriating about it. You know, it's just, we got to be our own advocates.
On the upside, I think the most important thing that I want people to understand about postpartum recovery is like the stuff you have to do is actually pretty simple.
Okay, you have to tell me how to get rid of my cramps. That I'm going to use you. You're gonna help me with my cramps.
Well, that like period cramps, that's a whole separate thing.
I need somebody to help. I don't know what they are.
Jaimie, she's not actually a doctor. I just gave her a doctor title. Just FYI.
I'm throwing it out to everybody, anybody who can help.
And by the way, she really is.
I am. I've already said it on like 5 episodes. Anybody know what's wrong with me?
And I'm like, Jaimie is a doctor.
Like actually for real. One of the things that I'm like a very big proponent of is getting your own hands on your body.
Mm-hmm.
So with a lot of my people, I've been doing a lot of like belly massage where.
Somebody just said I should do that.
You need to do it. This is the second reference.
Okay. So, I mean, because of course.
Go to someone.
This is, as well. So here's the thing about going to someone else. Your belly is like a very like psychologically on like a nervous system level. It's a very sensitive place. Yeah. It's literally where someone can kill you. So you're like very protective of it.
Yeah.
Also, it's where you feel bad about yourself. What? Who said that?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's like a whole. Oh yeah. Setting aside body image, like just on a like lizard brain level, you don't want to expose your belly to someone else.
Right. Yeah. True.
So that's why I love doing it as self-massage, because it's like, of course, on the body image front, like you can
doing it right now,
doing it to yourself just as much as someone else if you like don't like how it feels.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have people. I'll show you literally right now. I'll show you what
I do it every time I get a cramp. I go right to the spot and I push on it.
So I have people. So this is my hip bone.
Yeah.
By the way, these pants like strobe on camera. So
sorry. I love it.
So I like have people start it. You do this laying down so that there's like absolutely no abdominal engagement. You're not like working at all. And I have people start on the inside of one hip bone and just like literally just dig your fingers in. And of course, people who have more like flesh than me are like, I can't do it. I'm like, get your fingers in there.
Get in there.
In there. And
Get 'em in there.
literally just trace. So your hip bone actually goes really high. Like your hip bone's all the way up here. And then my rib cage is right there. They're very close. And you just like trace along to the top of the hip and then to the bottom of the ribs. And then this is where it gets really exciting. You just like literally stick your fingers in under your rib cage.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. So do it
Like lying down.
Light yourself some candles, get some aromatherapy going, like sit in the dark, lay down and do that. And just the other one that you can do is a belly scoop where you take like from the inside of your hip bone, you just like scoop to your belly button.
I'm gonna do it all.
You don't have to do it right now.
Yeah,
no. Now.
Right now, because
I'm doing it. I'm just never gonna stop doing it now.
Be laying down, Jaimie. You're engaging your core right now.
I can't lay down right now.
Anywhere that you like don't want to pass gas, don't do it there. Because
it's gonna come.
Yeah, it very well may.
It will, trust me.
And my favorite is when I do this with people and I'm like guiding it, they'll be like, oh my God, what is that? Like, what is that in there?
I'm going to do that. Everybody else should try that.
Well, either it's a knot in your tissue, which you can have not, like we all think of like knots being up here. Like, you have knots here. Like either it's a knot or it's a poop.
Yeah. Ooh.
It could be something like in your intestines or it could be like just like gunked up tissue. And
I don't think it's a poop because I just had a colonoscopy. It's not a poop.
Alrighty.
Anyway, I also, Kelly, was checking out your Instagram page, and so I have been kind of obsessed with this new yoga program, which is Yoga for Strength, and the tricks this man does are making me so angry because I cannot do them. I physically cannot do these tricks, like jump from down dog into a seated position through my arms. I can't do. I'm so angry. And you have a video of why you can't do the step through. Some reasons why you might not be able to. My forearm is super short.
So I am like I am the person who like yoga is designed for, because like long things. Like I am all torso. So my legs relative to my arms are very short.
Oh.
Like, I also have no boobies.
I see, and I have. See,
so there is so much space. Like
I don't feel as bad about myself.
Another leg in here.
I cannot do that.
Yeah. So that's like a very big thing that
I feel so much better about myself just because I have really short arms.
Yeah.
And
people act like, and so that means that you can get blocks, like you can get yoga blocks.
Get some.
Fish, this is not cheating.
I have the strength.
It's literally, I'm just making my arm longer.
Physics. It's physics.
I went to my wife right after I looked at that. Right before this, I was like, Anne, let me see your forearms. Put it against your leg. And her arm is so much longer than the leg. And I'm like, it's true. It's true. It's not my fault. I'm strong enough.
My husband and I are the inverse. My husband has the shortest arms.
Like T-Rex arms? You've got like the T-Rex arms?
That's me. Oh
and
my God.
He doesn't think of, like, questionable decision. Like, I train him. I always say, I'm like, he's my favorite, worst client. He disagrees with everything I say.
Yeah.
But
that sounds fun.
I watched a video the other day of him doing something where we're both just losing our shit. And he's like, I hate you. I'm giving you a 1-star review.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
He doesn't walk around thinking that he has short arms. Like, I have to point it out to him.
I bet he loves it when you do that.
I'm sure he does.
In a kind and supportive way of like, you can't do that because you have short arms, not like because you're weak. It's just
this is gonna be
time for you.
That's why I'm so good at push-ups, because my arms are so short.
There's so little distance to go. And you have big boobs. Your boobs hit the floor too.
As much as I'd like to continue talking about Jaimie's short arms, I would ask you if you have a couple of takeaways for our audience before we say our goodbyes.
Yes, please.
Sure. So, oh my God, so many. Okay, so first, the thing we kind of started with, everything counts. Don't think that there's no point in doing something if you can't do all the things.
Right.
And kind of hand in hand with that is it is never too late. Many of the people I work with are like under 2 years postpartum. There is actually inconclusive, like we literally don't know when the hormone levels return to normal postpartum, which is just kind of like crazy because
no man has bothered to study it.
I literally just watched a TED Talk called Women Are Not Small Men.
Right.
Because all of the research is done on men. And then it's just like, well, if women weigh roughly 80% as much.
Yeah.
I mean, down to the chairs they make in the world, down to that, like those were designed for men.
Yes.
The fitness equipment is designed for men, and you're just supposed to be a shorter version of that. It's true.
Yeah. So we don't know. We don't know actually like what the postpartum period is hormonally. It's somewhere between 6 months and as long as you keep breastfeeding. So that's just one little side note. It's never too late though. So even if you're not in that postpartum window anymore, you can still do work. Like I describe it as like, it's kind of like Play-Doh. It's easier when it's fresh. It kind of solidifies the longer you wait. Right. But that doesn't mean that it can't be done. You can like kind of splash some water back on the Play-Doh. Yeah. It'll rehydrate and you can keep going. So
that's a great image.
Yeah.
I live in
myself as Play-Doh.
So many of my people are in their 60s.
Oh.
They don't do postpartum programs. Like I work with them in other contexts, but it's never too late to start.
It's never too late. Mom, you hear that? She started walking. She's been walking for like 2 weeks straight. You hear that, Mom?
And that's, I mean, like that's exactly do something. Walking is awesome. For so many people postpartum, it's like, that's the thing you can put a baby in a stroller or a carrier and like go do.
Yeah.
Not here because it's 3,000 degrees and you're walking on the face of the sun. Yeah, but
that's awesome.
I had someone message me, I got a fan for my stroller, so now I can take the baby out with me. I'm like, you got it.
Kelly, where can people get you or find you or see you or follow you, all of the above?
So I am new-ish to the Instagram game, but I am very active over there. So join me on Instagram. I have so many things. I also have a free Facebook group. That Facebook group is like a really good entry point for people who are like, I don't know, she said do something. I post 2 free workouts a week over there. They're generally like 30 minutes or less. So Mondays at 9 a.m., there's a live workout. And there's also, Sue, walking with my podcast. Love it.
That's my mom. Just podcasting.
My mom comes to my classes too.
I love it.
So the free Facebook group is awesome. I am going to be kicking off my next postpartum group. So I do those as a group. It's 90 days to go from like 0 to 60. We cover everything. It's a very big mix of like some people are 4 weeks postpartum, some people are 4 years postpartum. And some people come in with quote unquote issues and other people come in just like, I'm just kind of trying to figure out where the heck to go. I don't know how to start. So it's a huge range. It's an awesome group. If anybody here, yes, Sue, the classes are always available after the live show Mondays at 9.
Oh, good. All right, Mom, get in there.
Yeah, so I can share a link. I don't know how to do that.
You just you do a comment on the post. I don't know if you can do it while you're in here.
I don't think you can do it while you're in. You got to come back and post it.
Yeah. I'll come back and post it into the group if anybody wants to join there. And then if anyone wants to join the 90-day postpartum group, that registration closes on Monday. And if you're coming from here, I will gladly throw in a free month of self-guided digital classes after the end. So if you're like, I want to do that 90 days and then get an extra month, just let me know that you came from here. So
good. Yay. Fun.
What's your IG handle? You didn't say what your IG handle is.
Sorry. It's just Kelly Bryant Wellness.
Kelly
Bryant Wellness. It's a good channel. I already, like I said, I've learned something.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah. I am like the queen of content, not so much the queen of commitment. So I will like produce all of the shit in the world. I'm like, I give people my knowledge. Like, you don't have to pay me to learn all the things I know. You just have to like, stay on my Instagram for 6 years. So paying me to learn the things is like a lot more efficient.
Yeah. Well, we're excited. It was so nice to have you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
Here, I hope that people like just feel empowered to do something.
Yeah.
Keep moving. Just
to take
keep moving.
charge of your well-being, because nobody else gives as much of a shit as you do.
Truth.
True.
So true.
Well, thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you,
guys.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
That was so good. I feel like I should share a non-bio postpartum mom story too, to get the non-bio moms. Here's my non-bio postpartum story. After Anne gave birth, we got the birth certificate in the mail, and I was listed as father. That was fun. And some people, I think some people wouldn't care. Some folks wouldn't care to be listed as father, but for me, I was like, no, I'm not. I don't identify as father. I am definitely
a parent and parent. That's really weird. That must have been early on in the.
This was 2013.
That's weird. But it was that early on in when we were able to do it. That was pretty close to when we were able to put for the first time on the birth certificates.
Well, yeah. So we were legal. So marriage was legalized 2012 because that's the year we got married, and this was December of 2013. No change had been made by then. So I was listed as father, and we needed to mail in our marriage license to get it changed. The woman wouldn't just take it. Like,
that's obnoxious.
Yeah. When we called, she was like, well, do you have a marriage license? And we were like, yes. And she was like, well, then you need to mail it to me. And we were like, I can't imagine that each heterosexual couple who comes has to bring their marriage license with them into the maternity ward and show it. So why do you need it from us?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my postpartum non-bio mom story.
All right, Norma Ray, settle down, Norma Ray. All right. Everybody fill out your surveys. We're going to send it out again in the If These Ovaries Could Talk community group and on our page. Remember, we're off next week, but back on Thursday, the first week in August. And what do you want to tell them about discounts?
Well, we have a discount with our new sponsor, Mira Fertility, which is a really great at-home fertility kit. You should check it out if you're thinking of trying. And then our new one is BetterHelp. Who doesn't need BetterHelp?
BetterHelp needs some therapy right now.
Online therapy. You don't have to go anywhere. You do it right on your computer. It's amazing. You guys have to do it. Oh, here's Kelly Bryant with the group. So get on that, guys.
Perfect.
But yeah, and go to our page, www.ovariestalk.com, and you will see our discounts that listed there. If you're thinking of using any of those things, get a discount and use it first. You might as well.
Correct. And Jaimie, what do we always say now? We have to say goodbye.
Eggs. Oh, stop, Helen. Stop it. We're doing it. She's like, you ran way over.
She's like, you're so long today. It's supposed to be 20 minutes.
Why'd she just turn into a jock?
I don't know. Helen does not have a consistent.
She's got a football in her arm now.
She does not have a. Sometimes I'm like, Helen. And sometimes she's like, just tell him Large Marge sent you.
Oh my God. Right, if you know that quote, you guys, I hope you guys know that quote.
Everybody, comment. Pee Wee Herman. I'm
going
to go vacation the crap out of this. I'll miss you guys. Eggs.
Yeah. Ovaries.
Vacation.
Out. We love you guys.